Hello, everybody. So we're gonna just, of course, give it a few minutes to let people pop in. Um, Hope everybody's doing well tonight. Um, mhm. Right. So now it's saying zero. As I said, we're just waiting to give people a chance to come in. So, all right, there we go. Rather than one watching at least. Okay. Let me see. Let me see now. As I'm just continuing to wait, see if more people show up. Let's see. Caring, courageous and caring, faithful and friendly, with stories to share. All through the forest they sing out in chorus, marching along as their song fills the air. Gummy bears bouncing here and there, everywhere. Find adventure that's beyond compare. They are the gummy bears. They are the gummy bears. 369, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. 369, 12, 15, 18, 21, 24, 27, 30. And there's three in the family. Mama and Daddy had a little baby. Yes, they did. It's a magic number. Yes, they did. Three is a family. Mama and Daddy had a little baby. Yes, they did. It's a magic number. Yes, they did. It's a family. Let's see. I'm just a bill up on Capitol Hill, and then hey, Bill, you became a law! Yay! Alvin, Simon, Theodore, do, 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 do. Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario, Super Mario World is a blast from the past. Super Mario World, you better think fast. Let's see. Hammer man, hammer man, hammer man, hammer man, hammer man, hammer man. There goes Fantastic Man. Oh, there goes Max on his routine mission. Will he lose or win? Do do. For applied diaper and that safety pin. He's tops. I mean terrific. I don't know another word that says it so specific. And there goes Max as a full-time hero. Victory I cry to. For applied diaper and that saved a pin. Fantastic Max. A world's greatest super friend. Do 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 do. When Captain America throws his mighty shield, all those who oppose his shield must yield. In the red and the white and the blue it comes true when Captain America throws his mighty shield. Tony Stark makes you feel he's a cool exec with the hottest wheels. As Iron Man, all jets aflame, he fights and fights with repulsor rays. Amazing power, it's Iron Man. Amazing power, it's Iron Man. Doc Bruce Banner, belted by gamma rays, turned into Hulk. Ain't he just gallantly wrecking the town with the powerful? You know, ain't someone who isn't lovable, the ever loving Hulk. Hulk, Hulk. All right, well, we're just past the 8-minute mark here, so I think it might be a good time to start at least telling you what's on tap for tonight. So we do have some interesting commentary on some news reports from Patrick Zurcher, a Marvel artist who believes Republicans to be Nazis. Kevin Smith weighs in on the Punisher logo, and Chuck Dixon explains. Dixon explains what motivates Batman to continue to fight crime. Also, we have a news report. There was a social media petition for a fifth season of Young Justice. Also, on the anime side of it, of course, have a few stories. Some interesting artwork, trailers, and all that from shows including Attack on Titan, Toradora. One of the other things we found out, of course, is Made in Abyss is coming to Toonami starting this weekend. That'll become part of the Toonami lineup. Critical Role. I think there was one more in there as well. There was one more anime. I just think of it off the top of my head at the moment. Sure, I'll when we get there. So, getting close to 10 minutes here. I seem to be the only one in here right now, but with that, we will get started on the stories. Hopefully, people will eventually get in here. So, here we go. And as always, of course, I do appreciate any and all likes and shares to help bring in more friendly people who want to learn and want to, get into learning more about niche comics, cartoons, anime, manga, and everything in between. So, with that, why don't we go ahead and get started here? All right, so let's see. Let's get going here. Well, before I do that, of course, let me just see if there's anybody I can. Anyway. Alrighty then, so let's get ready to get into this. Alright, so anyways. Alright, so Marvel Comics artist Patrick Zurcher claims, in quotes here, all Nazis are Republican. Article by John F. Trent, published yesterday, actually. So must have been after I went off the air yesterday that this one came in. And today is the 12th, as we all know. So let's get into this. Marvel Comics artist Patrick Zurcher, who is currently providing artwork for Savage Avengers, features Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian. Recently, that features Robert E. Howard's Conan the Barbarian, recently took to Twitter to claim that Nazis exist within the Republican Party. The only thing is, what he has to remember is Nazi actually short for National Socialist. If there were anybody who were considered Nazis, it'd be the liberal Democrats. So, it'd be more likely that people like AOC are Nazis. Anyways, Zurcher took to Twitter where he wrote, quote, "In America, not all Republicans are Nazis, but all Nazis are Republican." Yeah. Yeah. Wonder how his sales are doing. A few hours later, Zurcher would comment on Indiana State Senator Scott Baldwin's recent comments during a committee hearing. He wrote, quote, "Republican Senator Baldwin, let's be impartial about Nazis" comment made national news and the local news owned by Republicans, and did not report a single word about it. Actually, no, most of the national news organizations are, actually they're evenly split. You got CNN, MSNBC, who probably reported on it. Maybe Fox and Newsmax didn't, but you're again full of it. And I know Toys mentioned the other day that one of my moderators, Action Toys Channel, mentioned to me the other day that maybe all the politic talk chased some people off, and I apologize for that, but I'm just reporting the story here and giving my commentary. All right. this is what these people are thinking. If you're considering buying their product, and they're telling you that, and as they've been telling you for the last couple of years, if you don't agree with them, that they don't want your money. So you should at least be aware of who these people are. Anyways, and I see I do have at least one other viewer now, so that's good. I hope you're having a good evening, good day. If you haven't already, if you can like and share the stream so we can get some friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. So continuing on with the article here. In an edited video of the hearing posted to Twitter by Matt Bockenfeld, a teacher who testified at the hearing, they said edited. So Bockenfeld concludes the answer to a question saying, quote, "We are not neutral on Nazism. We take a stand in the classroom against it, and it matters that we do," unquote. Baldwin responded, quote, "I am not discrediting as a person, Marxism, Nazism, fascism. I am not discrediting any of those isms out there. And I have no problem with the education system providing instruction on the existence of those isms. I believe that we've gone too far when we take a position on those isms as it relates to we need to be impartial. Again, I am going to use this term. We need to be the purveyors of reason. We just provide the facts. The kids formulate their own opinions, which I believe sounds like that's a pretty reasonable response there to the question. For what I would gather is this teacher was trying to bait him into saying something where they could say that he supports Nazism, and I don't think he said that. I think he's in a way calling out those who are trying to politicize this stuff, try to get and he's calling out the people who will sit there when you don't agree with them. Well, you don't agree with me because you're a Nazi or you're an ist, you're a phobe. That I think is what Baldwin was pointing out there. And of course, feel free if you have anything you want to add to the conversation, feel free to do so. I'd be happy to answer any questions or reply to any comments. So, let's see. So here. Okay, so Baldwin would clarify his comments through a written statement posted to Twitter. I unequivocally condemn Nazism, fascism, and Marxism. When I said in the meeting, quote, I'm with you on those particular isms. That is what I meant to convey, unquote. Now, basically, I think what Bockenfeld and some of the teachers there are trying to pull here, they're basically trying to pull like what happened a couple years ago in Charlottesville. They're basically trying to say that he's saying something that he's not saying. All right. They're trying to make it look like he's actually saying something that's probably the complete opposite of what he's actually saying. So, quote, as someone who fought to defend our democracy, I agree teachers should condemn those dangerous ideologies. I sincerely regret that I did not articulate that and apologize for that. Mr. Baldwin, don't apologize. They'll take it as these clowns will take that as an admission of guilt. Okay? Never apologize to an SJW. He continued. He added, quote, we absolutely need to teach our children about the tragedies of the past. which is why legislation in its current form specifically protects the teaching of historical injustices. I said Wednesday that we need to listen and be open to changes that can improve the bill. We are working on amendments to that end. Okay, again, sounds pretty reasonable to me. Which again just goes to show you that some of these twidiots and you know SJWs, they don't want to compromise. They don't want to compromise. They just want their way, and we just cannot let them have their way because it's not really fair for everybody. As for Zurcher's claim that all Nazis are Republican, it's absurd on its face, and anyone claiming as such is not a serious person. Yeah, I mean, Zurcher's another twidiot. He's another SJW idiot. He's another twidiot. The Nazi Party of the National Socialist German Workers' Party was a political party in Germany between 1920 and 1945. Adolf Hitler became the leader of the party in 1921 and would eventually be appointed Chancellor of Germany in 1933, of course, the same year that FDR was elected president. In 1934, Hitler combined various German political and Nazi party offices into one, giving himself the title of Führer und Reichskanzler. He would lead Germany into World War II, where they would eventually be defeated primarily by the Soviet Union, the United Kingdom, and its Commonwealth of Nations, and the United States of America. And as as I can tell you, the source, this is from the Shadow 1941, Hitler's astrologer, and Hitler was depicted quite a bit in the comics. Following the German defeat in World War II, the Nazi Party was abolished on October 10th, 1945, by the Allied Control Council. Article 1 of Law Number 2 of the Control Council states the National Socialist German Labor Party, its formations, affiliated associations, and supervised agencies, including paramilitary organizations and all other Nazi institutions established as instruments of party domination, are hereby abolished and declared illegal. So basically, what they did with that first law is they basically in Germany there they made being a part of the Nazi Party illegal. Quote: the Nazi organizations enumerated in the attached appendix, or which may be added, are expressly abolished. Unquote, it added. Finally, Article 1 concluded, quote, the reforming of any of the organizations named herein, whether under the same or different names, is forbidden, unquote. So basically they made it to where it basically to be a Nazi, whether you're trying to reform the original party or form a new version of it under a different name, it's basically illegal. And thank you for the like. Always I do appreciate any and all likes and shares. And if we can, get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. And also, guys have anything you'd like to add to the conversation here about the article or what have you, you're more than welcome to. So, anyways, And here's from Action Comics number 46. Hmm. Okay, so my guess is this is a Zatara story right here. That was probably before, of course, they introduced the Spear of Destiny in later issues. Um, an organization called the American Nazi Party was founded in the United States by former Navy Commander George Lincoln Rockwell back in March 1959. Rockwell would attempt to run for president in 1964 and eventually be assassinated by John Patler in 1967. So apparently, the American Nazi Party was, so I guess that was just in Germany, as I was pointing out. Another organization called the National Socialist Party of America was founded in 1970 by Frank Colin, and I believe that one's still around today. Um, who had previously been a member of the American Nazi Party. As you can guess, none of these organizations are associated with the Republican Party. No, these were their own political party here in the United States. Okay, I mean today we have the Democrats. So we do actually have a socialist party in the United States here, as Socialist Party USA. We have two of them. We have Socialist Party USA, and we have the Democratic Socialist of America. So we actually have two socialist parties here in America that are completely different political parties than obviously the Republican Party. Dwight Eisenhower at 1964. See photo. Um, credit. Interestingly enough, Dwight D. Eisenhower, the supreme commander of Allied troops that attacked Nazi Germany through France and eventually defeated them in Berlin, alongside the Soviet Union, who had attacked from the east, became 34th president of the United States. He was a member of the Republican Party. He was basically the president from 1953 to 1961, basically in between Harry Truman and John F. Kennedy's terms as president. Despite this, Zurcher is not the only person that to make such absurd claims. Yeah, I would agree that they're because again, a lot of these twitty really don't stop to think about what they're saying, nor do they do a whole lot of research. Um, Infamously, the Mandalorian actor Pedro Pascal compared supporters of President Donald Trump to Nazis and Confederates in an Instagram post. What do you think of Marvel Comics, um, Patch Zerker, um, making his absurd claim? I think he's an idiot. He's clear cut idiot. He's an absolute idiot there. So I hope everybody's enjoying the content thus far. We're gonna get ready to go on to the next. I was reading it as Patrick Zurcher. I guess one of the nicknames he goes by is Patch Zurcher. So now we're gonna go on to the next story here. All right, so here we go with all right, so let's see what next story here has to say. Kevin Smith weighs in on Punisher logo change. Quote, when they put it back on his chest, they will sell a bajillion copies. Unquote. Hmm. If that is indeed the case. Article by Spencer McCooley published earlier today. Masters of the Universe Revelation showrunner Kevin Smith has weighed in on Marvel Comics' recent decision to distance themselves from the Punisher's iconic emblem, opining that despite the publisher doing so, quote, because it's been co opted by some folks that, in brackets, they don't want to be associated with, unquote, the classic skull will inevitably make a return. So I guess he's hoping for that. As announced by Marvel last December, Frank Castle will soon be swapping his traditional skull symbol for one more reflective of his upcoming role as the warlord of the Hand Ninja Clan. Quote, after a shocking secret pushes him to become the warlord of the Hand, he now serves the Beast, a role he's been fated to fulfill, unquote, teased the publisher in their announcement of the Punisher's next story arc. Quote, tragedy, war, and rage come together as he takes up his sword and his new armor with the most notorious clan of assassins in the Marvel universe. I guess they would be comparing. I guess the Hand is Marvel's answer to DC's League of Assassins, I guess, or League of Shadows. Um, will it mean an end for the Punisher or a whole new bloody beginning? Unquote. Now here's something I just happened to cross my mind here as I was reading that too. So they're bringing in Frank Castle to be the warlord, or I guess leader of a ninja clan. Okay, ninjas were of Japanese culture. Isn't this kind of like, I'm actually surprised that the Twidiots aren't going, no, no, we need an Asian to be we need a Japanese person to be the head of the assassin, not a white dude who uses guns. No. I don't know. That just happened to cross my mind right there. I mean, again, not that I have anything. I don't see a problem with it. Frank. That's the story they want to go with. Let them write that story and see if it sells. But it's just kind of funny how I haven't heard too much backlash on the idea of Frank Castle, who is white, leading a clan of assassins, or leading a clan of ninja. When ninja, of course, are Japanese. Just again, kind of just pointing out the hypocrisy of the selective outrage. And then there's that. See if you guys have said anything yet. Well, at least you're watching, so that's nice. Thank you. Hope you're enjoying the content. So let's go on with the article here. This new symbol comes after the character's co-creator, Jerry Conway, launched a campaign to quote unquote reclaim the Punisher's iconic symbol. And I know we've also heard Mike Barron talk about it too, as he did some work on the Punisher as well. Talking to Twitter in June 2020, Conway announced, quote, I'm looking for young comic book artists of color who'd like to participate in a small fundraising project for Black Lives Matter to reclaim the Punisher skull as a symbol of justice rather than lawless police oppression. But respond and follow. We can DM. So we can DM. Unquote. A year later, Conway would deride the police and military members who wore the symbol. Well, in a way, though, if you remember, Frank Castle in his original creation was a paramilitary guy. This guy would have all types of guns, bombs, and the rest. I remember seeing him in a couple episodes of Spider-Man the animated series. You know, he was a gun-toting. He was kind of a paramilitary type guy. In terms of his methodology, anyways. I understand he has a particular reason. He had his backstory is his family was killed by mobsters, and he decided to take the law into his own hands. So, and did so with lethal force. In January 2021, he told Sci-Fi, quote, "To me, it's disturbing whenever I see authority figures embracing Punisher iconography. Because the Punisher represents a failure of the justice system. He's supposed to indict the collapse of social moral authority. And the reality, some people can't depend on institutions like the police or the military to act in a just and capable way." Well, you can't really expect any politician to do that, though. More so with the liberals and the with the liberals. Anyways, quote, "They are embracing an outlaw mentality. Whether you think the Punisher, and Black Lives Matter isn't rioting in all the major cities, developing chases and chops. Really, there, Jerry." Quote, "They are embracing an outlaw mentality, whether you think the Punisher is justified or not. Whether you admire his code of ethics, he is an outlaw. He is a criminal. Police should not be embracing a criminal as their symbol," unquote, he asserted. So a cop can't root for an anti-hero. Is that what you're saying? The problem with Jerry's thought process there, though, is any way you look at it, any vigilante is a criminal. And yet, we've seen in numerous cases whether they be deemed a hero and anti-hero, a hero or an anti-hero, you know, they're still a vigilante, and thereby they're still technically a criminal. If you go with that, I mean, but the thing is, look at Batman, right? He ends up working with the police. Now, granted, I know there have been at some points in the comic, in Batman's comic history, where he's actually been deputized as a member of the police department. In fact, I believe on Earth 2, after Bruce and Selina got married, after, let's see, not after they got married, but later in life, on Earth 2, Bruce would give up the cape and cowl, become police commissioner, and his daughter on Earth 2, Helena Wayne, and of course Dick Grayson still as Robin, would take over protecting Gotham City. Helena as the Huntress. So, Yeah. So, anyways, let's see. Yeah. Punisher Volume 12. So this scene right here is Punisher Volume 12, Number 13, War on the Streets Part 2, 2019. Marvel Comics, words by Matthew Rosenberg, art by Seisman um, Kudransky. Conway then declared, quote, "It goes without saying, in a way, it's an offensive as putting a Confederate flag on a government building," unquote. Yet many states in the South still do. Um, quote, "My point of view is the Punisher is an anti hero, someone we might root for while remembering he's also an outlaw and criminal. If an officer of the law representing the justice system puts yet he still ends up getting the bad guy, right? Um, representing the justice system puts a criminal symbol on his police car and shares challenge coins honoring a criminal. He or she is making a very ill-advised statement about the understanding of the law," unquote. He can, man, talk about biting off your own nose to spite your own face. Hey, Conway, newsflash. These guys are helping to promote the character you created. The most likely buying the comics and the merchandise associated with this character. Are you saying you don't want their money because they're the police? Just goes to show you the idiocy of these SJWs. Yeah. So what if they decide, whether if they decide to wear the skull shirt? They like the Punisher. It's very likely that at some point in their life, even before they became police officers, they probably read some of your work there, Jerry. It's very likely they bought some of the very comic books that help you today to enjoy the comforts you have from the money you made from making those comic books. And if they, continue to buy the comic books, they continue to buy the merchandise associated with the Punisher, that's ultimately money that's going to be going into your pocket. It's going to also open up doors for you to make more money when people want you to try to make new characters, not woke characters, not characters that will make you go broke because you're trying to preach at people, but characters that you and Mike Barron, put out there, like the Punisher, who people can relate to. And you're going to lecture the police because they decide to use they decide to support your character. Jerry Conway, you're an idiot. You are a full-blown idiot. You're perfect illustration of that saying about biting off your nose to spite your own face, or chopping off your nose to spite your own face. RJ, hey RJ, how you doing, man? Publishers told Mike Barron um, they didn't want his money. They could make. They didn't want his money they could make from Thin Blue Line because of the police. Yeah, I know that. I saw that in the interview. I also saw that in some of the commentary there, RJ. Yeah, that just goes to show you. Holy smoke! Holy smokies, RJ from Action Toys channel there. And I do thank you guys for the likes and the shares. Hopefully, we get some more friendly people in here. But yeah, RJ, you're right. But again, that just goes to show you, like the mainstream comic industry, just how idiotic they are. You know, you brought up Mike Barron. I brought up Mike Barron as well. Um, But that kind of thinking, as I said, is like chopping off your nose to spite your face. Many of these cops that Conway is deriding probably helped him make the money he's made. You know, the not in a way he should be thanking the cops. They bought his book, or bought merchandise associated with his character. They should be thanking those cops, not deriding them. You know, well, I'm glad you enjoyed my character. I'm glad you guys are big fans of the Punisher. But no, he's got to pull a SJW BS move here. Um, I've seen some of the unpublished comments. One said, "F out of here." Um, with that copganda. Yeah, that's becoming a new term now. And everybody's throwing out there copganda. Yeah, I've been seeing that starting more. Actually, I know Yellow Flash did a video on it the other day too. Um, yeah, basically, as Mike Barron put it, some of the more polite ones just simply said, "No, we'd prefer to pass." Knowing that they didn't want to see the backlash, but some of the more the ones who weren't unpolite made comments like you just posted there, and probably worse. Anyways, getting back to the story here, and I hope you guys are enjoying the content here. And by the way, this we're talking a lot about Jerry Conway here, but this is actually supposed to be about Kevin Smith. Well, his statement in that eventually they'll bring the skull back. That was Kevin Smith's point. They'll eventually. Let's see. Yeah. Continuing on with the article here. All right. Smith touched on the topic during a January 7th, 2022, so last Friday, episode of the podcast Fat Man Beyond. Um, and it's kind of funny that, and I probably mentioned this before. It's funny how Kevin Smith calls himself Fat Man because DC actually did have a hero called Fat Man. It was Bob Daly. It was who was the sidekick of Tex Thompson, and he took the name Fat Man when Tex Thompson took the costumed identity of Mr. America. So, um, which he hosts alongside Masters of the Universe Revelation writer Mark Bernardin. Quote, this character has been insanely popular for decades, unquote. He explained to Bernardin after a brief recap of the character's history. Quote, he's recognizable by the skull on his chest, unquote. And I don't know if any of you guys were here earlier when I talked about this too. Um, I'm actually surprised there hasn't been more outrage shown for the direction they're taking Frank Castle here right now because the idea here is you have again, not that I personally think it makes a difference, but you would think with the SJWs here they'd be crying foul here because Frank Castle, being a white guy, is the head of a ninja clan, which is from Japanese culture. You would think they'd be crying, "Oh, they should make him they should make a Japanese person the head of that clan. This, that, and the next thing. So, um, yeah, we haven't heard too much of a peep about that. Anyways, continuing on with the article here. He continued, a quote, apparently the skull on his chest became problematic because it's been co-opted by some folks that Marvel doesn't want to be associated with. So this seems like their fix, unquote. Yep. Quote, also, in quote unquote, Smith then speculated, quote, maybe the character has come under fire in recent years for all the gun use and stuff, unquote. Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, he is, and as I said earlier, he is a paramilitary guy. So it would make sense that military, particularly military guys, SWAT cops and all that, probably would want to embrace the symbol. The former Marvel writer then noted, quote, so what they've done is changed the skull into a proprietary looking skull. That's the other reason Marvel Disney cannot own or trademark the image of a skull as seen on the Punisher. In smaller quote, because it's too close to a regular skull, unquote. Um, quote, by adding the horns and stuff, that is their Punisher logo now, unquote. And again, as we've been talking about more with DC than anything else, but with them trying to get around, you know, the rights issues and all that with original creators to where they don't have to pay them. We've of course talked about that a little bit too. But anyways, he affirmed, quote, it removed them from the Punisher logo as it's traveled in the world to places that they don't want to be associated with. Frank Castle no longer using machine guns or any sort of guns because he's all swords now, unquote. Instead of being the paramilitary guy. And again, I point out here again, I'm surprised that they didn't find this problematic because you now basically have a white man who is basically becoming the head of Ninja Clan, which is from the culture of Japanese. Again, not that I have a personal issue with it. Just saying, just pointing out kind of the selective outrage there. That artwork there was from Civil War #1, #6, Civil War Part 6. Okay, so, anyways, speaking to fans who were less than enthused about the new design, Smith maintained, quote, naturally, some folks are all upset. I don't read the comics, so I got no skin in the game. But as a long term comic book reader, this is what I will say. If you wait long enough, kids, everything comes back around, unquote. Quote, this is not the first time that Frank Castle has been turned into a different version of the Punisher, unquote, he recalled. Quote, they did this when we did Marvel Knights. They did Frank Castle got killed, went to hell, came back as a guy who would only kill bad people and monsters. You know, supernatural characters and stuff like that. He then argued, quote, it's a character that sometimes based on the culture has butted up against the culture. So Marvel has tried to find ways to still keep a beloved character viable while not being associated with whatever they don't want to be associated with. This is yet another example of that, unquote. Quote, so if you're like, oh, I can't stand what they're doing, unquote, take it from an old comic book fan, just wait 10 minutes. Nothing is forever, kids, unquote. It's kind of funny how he keeps referring to them as kids when probably a lot of comic book readers these days are adults. You probably have more adults reading comics and kids, you know. He concluded, quote, you think that the skull is gone from the Punisher's chest forever. No, and when they put it back on his chest, they will sell a bajillion copies. Well, maybe they, again, maybe, maybe Kevin Smith's comments here are almost a subtle admission here that, something, maybe the whole idea of get woke, go broke, maybe there's something to that. Maybe going woke here isn't really the best thing to do. Maybe there's a subtle admission, you know, subtle admission there. You know, maybe he realized after what happened with Master of the Universe Revelation, maybe he's learning something. He just of course doesn't want to say something outright because then he might get blackballed from Hollywood. So that's probably why he just doesn't say something outright. What do you think of Smith's take on the Punisher's hand influenced emblem? Yeah, well, I mean, he makes a couple good points there, but I think he just, I think toward the end there, as I said, he made a very subtle admission there that maybe not a lot of people will pick up. Um, that could, it could be something he learned from his experiences doing Master of the Universe Revelation. And maybe come to the realization, even though he can't speak too loudly about it, that, something, maybe this whole idea of going woke doesn't actually work out best for us. So he just can't, you know, he just can't, though, disobey his Hollywood masters. All right, so as we prepare to move on, I'd say, May's back. Hello, May. Hey, folks, Happy New Year. Mike and others. Hey, May, glad to see you back here. We haven't seen you in a while. I made it back. How are you, Mike? Leto isn't here back. Well, Batgoat will hopefully be back next week. He went on vacation for the last month. Leto, he might be back soon. It's just that he's in the process of moving right now, so that's why he hasn't been around much. Let's see. Hey there, May from Toys. Happy New Year, May. Leto is working, and he's got a promotion at work. He got promoted at work and got more hours. And Batcoat's on vacay or vacay. Yeah. I see. I see. Nice. Good for them. Thanks, ATC. No problem. How's the Cursed project going, May? Anyways, and if I do of course appreciate any and all likes and shares. If you guys can If you guys haven't already, you can like and share the stream. See if we can get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. Enjoy the content. Wow, we're already past the hour mark, and I just got through 2 of the 9. Anyways, all right. So moving on to the next article here, then. Bane creator Chuck Dixon explains what motivates Batman to continue to fight crime. Article by John F. Trent, published earlier today. The creator of Batman villain Bane, Chuck Dixon, recently explained what motivates Batman to continue to fight crime. I gave you something, you gave me something. Okay. Detective Comics number 684. Dixon, who had a lengthy run on Batman and Detective Comics and wrote some of the character's best stories, including one of the more notable ones, I think the breaking of the bat, or one where Bane broke Batman's back. Let's see. Provided his expertise in his most recent Ask Chuck Dixon video series. In Ask Chuck Dixon number 92, Dixon responded to an inquiry from yours truly. I inquired, quote, I'm looking for your analysis of Batman's psyche and why he fights crime, unquote. Dixon responded, well, I think the real question is, why does he continue to fight crime? We all know why he became Batman. It's a promise to his parents to avenge them or find some sense of justice for himself over the senseless murder that he witnessed as a child. Unquote. Quote. So he becomes Batman as a result of basically childhood trauma. He's dealing with the horrible night that lives in his mind. I mean, of course it would see it. Of course it would see something like that as a child is indelible. You're never going to forget it. It's going to alter the course of your existence. So we all know why he fights crime. But why does he continue? And then this is from Batman number 47. There. Dixon then recalled Batman number 47 and how he disliked the story because it had Batman capturing Joe Chill, fulfilling his promise to his parents. He said, quote, I remember reading the origin story or retelling of the origin story in the 50s. And they went into the whole thing with Joe Chill and how Batman captures Joe Chill. And I was maybe 10 or 11 when I read the story, and I hated it. I hated it. I said, I don't want Batman to ever find who killed his parents. I think that was the wrong way to go. Unquote. Then, quote, because why would he continue being Batman? He made good on his promise. So why would he keep on doing that? And I don't quite get it, unquote. Dixon questioned. There's another scene, of course. Again from Batman number 47. He went on to reveal he changed this key piece of Batman. Okay. He went on to reveal he changed this key I wonder if he means how he changed this key piece of Batman continuity. Quote, so when I came on to write Batman, that was the one little piece of continuity I changed. I know I always preach about not going back to the origin and changing things, but I couldn't resist that one. Unquote. Quote, I went back and changed the origin so that Joe Chill was suspect number one, but it turned out not to be Joe Chill. That Bruce Wayne, with his incredible detective skills, is finally able to find out that no, the man who was or is accused of killing my parents, suspected killer, he's not that one. He's not the one, and I can't find the guy, and may never know. Unquote. He elaborated. From Detective Comics number 678. He reiterated, quote, so to me, that's the reason why he continues to fight crime, because he's looking for the guy who killed his parents, unquote. Quote, I'm serving justice here, cleaning up the streets, and that's his modus, unquote, he declared. From Detective Comics number 681. Dixon then went on to explore why Batman continues to fight crime. Quote, now on the flip side, if you take my version of continuity, and he knows it wasn't Joe Chill, my thing is in his search for Joe Chill, he realized desperately how desperately needed he was in Gotham, and so that's the mission. All right, maybe a little weird way of putting it, but grammatically, anyways. Quote, now the mission changes from the promise he made to his parents to a responsibility to the community that he can't turn away, unquote, he explained. And throughout a lot of the media that Batman's been involved with, we've seen there is that sense of community, responsibility to the community, both as Batman and as Bruce Wayne, so Dixon went on, quote, as Randolph Scott used to say in the Westerns, there's some things a man can't ride around, in smaller quotes, and Batman cannot ride around the chaotic and anarchic world of crime. The vibrant underworld that seems to permeate Gotham, unquote. Let's see if there's any new comments here. So we, all right. All right, let's see. Hi, Mike. Hi. Let's see. Um, okay, Meme is saying I've been busy a while. Still, I haven't worked on my comments. All right. Okay. Well, welcome, Jason Myers. I hope you're enjoying the content here. You can like and share the stream so we get some more friendly people in here. That'd be appreciated. All right. So, anyways, continue on with the article here. Quote, now from childhood trauma to crusade, that's his motivation. And he's got the skills and he's got the funds. And how are you going to walk away from that? This is a thing now for the rest of his life, unquote. few details. Dixon concluded, quote, "That's as deep into the psyche as I can get on that overall topic," unquote. Right? So, um, what do you make of Chuck Dixon's explanation about what motivates Batman to continue to fight crime? So, well, yeah, it does seem interesting. Seems like an interesting take. Um, just subscribed. Okay, thank you for the subscription there. I just subbed. Okay. Um, Thank you for that. Anyways, we're gonna move on to the next one. We're done with all the comic stories. So move on to a television story, kind of a cartoon story that I saw earlier today here. So I was prepping the stream, prepping the articles and all that. So, and then after this, we'll be doing some anime stories over on CBR. So, here's something in the realm of animation cartoons. Fans rally on social media to get fifth season for Young Justice. Article by J.B. Augustine, published earlier today. Now, this is, of course, the Young Justice series that started back in 2010. Ran for I think two or for a couple seasons, and then went on a long hiatus until like 2018 when they brought out season three, and then just most recently completed season four, Phantasms, I believe. I believe season three was Outsiders and season four was Phantasms. So, anyways, let's get into this article then. Young Justice Phantoms is in the middle of a mid-season break, so the narrative isn't wrapped up yet by what viewers expect um, to be a blowout of a finale. How the second half does should decide if this fourth season gives way to a fifth. But the fans can't wait. So basically, the fans are already saying, "Hey, we want a fifth season of this. We want more Young Justice. We want another story. Give us another story." Although it's HBO Max's move to make, those fans have started a trend with the hashtag Renew Young Justice or at renewed I guess hashtag Renew Young Justice to get that next season. And why not? A social media campaign worked before when bringing Zack Snyder's Justice League to streaming screens, as well as in the case of getting the current season of Young Justice. A former pride and joy of cable TV, the show was previously canceled by its former home Cartoon Network in 2013. It remained in limbo for years until the audience petitioned for a new season that was picked up by the Warner Media owned streamer DC Universe. It's from Young Justice Phantoms. No one wanted to see a new season of Young Justice more than showrunner Greg Weisman. So naturally, he is desirous of another one. After Phantoms, he has a strange, if predictable, remedy, though binge the whole series a lot. Quote, if fans want more Earth 16, the universe where the series takes place, unquote, he wrote on his website back in October, quote, the answer is simple. Keep binging all four seasons over and over and over and over and help us hashtag spread the word. We want to hashtag save Earth 16. There's the Aqua lad of Earth 16. Because by this point, he's actually become Aquaman, from what I understand. He later doubled down on Twitter when he announced the full season order of Phantoms was complete at a count of 24 episodes. Hashtag Young Justice Phantoms now has 24 episodes in the can, i.e., totally complete, Weissman posted. Unquote. Quote, the last two just need to be finished closed captioning and will be done. So if you want more, hashtag keep binging Young Justice to hashtag save Earth 16. Now, Greg Weissman, of course, is a pretty well known producer director. He's worked on a number of series over the years. I believe he worked on Gargoyles back in the 90s. I believe he was, you know. Well, the people are on board helping hashtag Renew Young Justice trend are posts from at Promise Bat, who writes, quote, HBO Max really needs to renew Young Justice because it's my favorite animated show in the service, along with all the other cool DC stuff. He adds, quote, can we please get a season 5 at HBO Max, hashtag Renew Young Justice. And I watched the first 2 seasons of Young Justice, and I've seen clips of the last 2 seasons here and there. It does look pretty good, and it does kind of look like they're staying away from the woke stuff, which I applaud them for that, which is probably why they are successful, because they're staying away from like trying to preach to you. At least from what I've seen. Going further, Kevin Gross at Batman 20 wants to see Young Justice renewed up to season 10. All right, that might be stretching it a bit, but uh, season 5, season 6, season 7, season 8, season 9, season 10 need to be renewed. Let's see now. And once again, looks like we kind of died out a bit. As apparently, I seem to only have one viewer. I may be the only one viewing. Apparently, yeah. Well, anyways, getting back to the article here. Fan at Swiftly Matched wants to see more Young Justice and especially more of voice actor Zeno Robinson as Cyborg. Quote, we love voice actors supporting the show, unquote, said at Swiftly Matched. Quote, thanks for helping us trend hashtag Renew Young Justice Zeno. Your work is phenomenal, and we hope to see much more of you in coming episodes, seasons, and with some kind of sideway happy face. I don't know what that means, but anyways, unquote. She added, quote, at HBO Max, at Warner Brothers TV, let's do this, unquote. Robinson, by the way, throws out that Wally will be back if Weissman has anything to say about it. Quote, hey, totally take my word for it, but at Greg Weissman told me in secret that if we hashtag renew Young Justice, that he'd 100% totally not no fooling bring back Wally, unquote, he tweeted. Now, I don't know if that was a wise thing to do, though. I don't know if that was such a wise thing to say, oh, yeah, he's going to bring him back. for a couple of reasons. Maybe Rick Wiseman was planning on doing that as kind of a special thing and surprise people with it. For one, well, Zeno just now spoiled the surprise. Two, what if he doesn't bring him back? Then Zeno looks like a fool for saying that. That may not have been the brightest thing to do right there. Anyways, however, he did add the caveat, quote, source, just trust me, bro, unquote. Yeah. Okay. I guess we'll just have to wait and see. Anyways, Young Justice Phantoms will be back from its hiatus this spring to finish its run. So that should be pretty interesting. So, anyways, let's see now. Hey, Woody. Hi, Mike. I've been out here listening, but I'm off my computer working on some graphic stuff I play with. Okay. Hey, just as long as you're here. And if you haven't already, Woody, if you could like and share the stream so we can see if we can get some more friendly people in here, that'd be appreciated. Um, Thank you for being here, and thank you for the like and share if you have already done that. If you haven't, if you can do so, that'd be appreciated. Um, anyways, wow, we're already hour 21 here. So I'm going to have to zip through the next like 5 articles here, which will all be anime related quickly. And since they're on CBR, I should be able to do that. And usually these articles go a little quicker. Usually. All right, so here we go. We're going to get into some anime stories now. Hopefully, you guys are enjoying the content. So, with that, let's go ahead and get into this. Attack on Titan opening clip smashes past 10 million views in one weekend. Attack on Titan, the final season, part two's opening video, manages to pull in a whopping 10 million views in just under 3 days. Article by Michael Asuna, published 12 hours ago. So here we go. I don't know if that's part of the clip or not. But... Okay, so a clip of Attack on Titan's new opening sequence managed to rack up 10 million views in the 3 days since it was uploaded. The final season, part two's new opening animation, was uploaded to YouTube on January 9th, the same day that the second half of the last season premiered its first episode. Since then, the video has pulled in multiple millions of views each day and is now currently sitting at 10.8 million views. The official Attack on Titan Twitter account posted a new image and a multilingual message thanking fans for making the clip a success. Million views. The anime's latest opening title sequence is set to the song The Rumbling by Japanese metal group Sim. Gamers may recognize the group's music as the songs were previously featured in a number of popular titles, including Mobile Suit Gundam Extreme versus Maxi Boost On and Yakuza Kiwami 2. The video's performance on YouTube is just the latest demonstration of Attack on Titan's continued popularity. On January 9th, demand for the new episode of the series was enough to temporarily crash popular anime streaming service Crunchyroll. Crunchyroll is simulcasting the series with subtitles in 8 languages to over 200 countries globally, but the final season is also being streamed on Funimation and Hulu. And I guess when they get the dub done, you'll probably see the dub on Toonami. They'll probably hopefully be able to get that finished up on there as well. While the original Attack on Titan manga's finale was met with a very mixed reception when it was published in 2021, it is now clear the series' controversial ending hasn't put a damper on the hype for the anime adaptation's climax. The series was created by author Hajime Isayama in 2009 and was published by Kodansha after Japan's most popular manga publication, Shueisha's Weekly Shonen Jump, infamously rejected Isayama's pitch. The series is now the 15th best-selling manga series of all time, with over 100 million copies in circulation worldwide. An anime adaptation of Isayama's work debuted in 2014 and was originally produced by Wit Studio, the animation company behind Cabaneri of the Iron Fortress and last fall's critical darling Ranking of Kings. Wit Studio animated the first 3 seasons of the series, but was unexpectedly replaced by MAPPA, the studio behind Jujutsu Kaisen anime and the upcoming Chainsaw Man series, for its 4th and final season. While MAPPA's run on the series has been widely criticized for not looking as good as Wit Studio's seasons, the shift has clearly not affected the anime's popularity. New episodes of Attack on Titan, the final season, part 2, will be released every Sunday on Crunchyroll, Funimation, and Hulu till the series conclusion. The complete manga series is now available in English from Kodansha, USA. There we go with that one. Got 4 more articles to go through to see if anybody said anything this far. You excited? Well, yeah. If it comes out on Toonami, I'll be glad to watch it. I have made reports on it. It does seem like it's a pretty interesting story there. So all right, so here's the next art. Let me see where we're at. Okay, yeah. All right, so we should be able to blast through these pretty quick. All right. So here's the next article we're going to do here. Toradora returns with 15th anniversary illustration. The Toradora, of course, is a Japanese term meaning tiger dragon. Toradora illustrator Yasu releases a new art piece featuring fan favorite characters in commemoration of the light novel series 15th anniversary. So 15th anniversary, that would probably meant back they came around in 2007. Article by Hansini Wasalamudalige, published 12 hours ago. The girl in front there is Tora, right there, the one holding the Boken. I don't remember who the other characters are. I've seen the anime before, but just Yasu, the illustrator of the light novel series Toradora, created a new piece of art to celebrate the popular romantic comedy's 15th anniversary. A commemorative illustration depicts beloved main and supporting characters of the series as they lounge around their classroom. Taiga, okay, that was the girl's name, who's the one with the boken right there in the front. Taiga um, Isaka, one of Toradora's title characters, um, stands at the forefront of the picture. She brandishes her iconic wooden sword, or what they call in Japan, a boken, over her shoulder, ready to strike down anyone who dares cross her. Ryuji Takasu, the series' point of view protagonist, sits at a desk as he gazes at Taiga with his precious pet parakeet, Inok-chan, Inko-chan, Inko-chan, at his side. The pair are surrounded by their friends and classmates, including Minori Kushieda and Yusaku Kitamura, the longtime crushes of Ryuji and Taiga, respectively. The accompanying text are teases that new projects celebrating the series will be unveiled over the coming days. Dengeki Bunko, the imprint under which the Toradora light novels were published, previously teased these new projects last month, though details about what these will exactly be or entail have yet to be released. Yuyunko Takemiya's Toradora largely centers around high school students Ryuji Takasu and Taiga Aisaka and the unlikely friendship that develops between them. The two, while having vastly different personalities, are similar in that their appearances do not reflect who they truly are. And now I'm beginning to remember. With the kind hearted and gentle Ryuji labeled as a delinquent due to his intimidating face, and fiery, brash Taiga mistaken for a fragile and soft girl because of her doll like features. When Ryuji unwittingly discovers that Taiga has a crush on his best friend Yusaku Kitamura, and Taiga learns that Ryuji is similarly interested in her best friend Minori Kushieda, the two enter an arrangement of mutual gain as they try to help each other with the affections of their respective crushes. Let's see. Similar to Jujutsu Kaisen. Hmm. Let's see. The series has enjoyed great popularity since its first novel was released in 2006, with over 3 million copies of the light novel series being sold in Japan as of April 2009. Toradora also spawned a highly successful anime adaptation, which ran for 25 episodes from October 2008 to March 2009. A manga adaptation of the light novel series is still ongoing, with 9 volumes released in Japanese and English to date. The Toradora anime can be streamed on Netflix, Prime Now, Tubi, Funimation, and Crunchyroll. The light novels and manga are also available to Western audiences, both physically and digitally, through Seven Seas Entertainment. And there we go with that one. And we'll get to the next one here in a sec. Let's see. 85. All right, so here we get to the next article here. I think we got 3 left here. 2 or 3 left. Critical Role's The Legend of Vox Machina drops bloody, profanity-filled trailer. Prime Video releases a new red band trailer for the animated adaptation of Critical Role's comedic tabletop RPG campaign by Michael Acerna, published 11 hours ago. Oh, look at that. Interesting. The latest trailer for The Legend of Vox Machina offers an uncensored look at the Adventuring Guild's adventures. The new trailer, which was released by Amazon's Prime Video service, immediately makes it clear that the new animated series isn't your typical high fantasy adventure. The preview introduces the Vox Machina Guild's band of hard drinking, foul mouthed, and self interested adventurers, and several of the foes that they may accidentally vanquish during the Legend of Vox Machina's first season. The show is scheduled to premiere exclusively on Prime Video on January 28th, 1 week ahead of its originally announced premiere date. So it looks like they're starting even earlier than they initially planned. That's interesting. The Legend of Vox Machina is the highly anticipated animated adaptation of the first role-playing campaign played through by Critical Role, a popular web series that stars several of the animation and video game industry's biggest voice actors as they play through various tabletop games. The original campaign starred Resident Evil and Attack on Titan voice actor Matthew Mercer as the Dungeon Master, alongside players Laura Bailey from Dragon Ball Z, Spider Man, Fruits Basket, Soul Eater, Yu Yu Hakusho, Full Metal Alchemist, Naruto, Taliesin Jaffe from Mobile Suit Gundam Unicorn, and One Piece, among others. Ashley Johnson, Blind Spot, The Last of Us Part 2, as well as, I believe she was in, if this is the same Ashley Johnson I'm thinking of, she was also in Recess as Gretchen. Liam O'Brien from Revolutionary Girl Utena, Sailor Moon Crystal. He was also Gaara on Naruto as well. Marisha Ray from Persona 4 Arena and Fire Emblem. Sam Riegel, Sanjay and Craig, Winx Club. And Travis Willingham, Full Metal Alchemist. Sonic the Hedgehog, the first season of Soul Eater as well. So players from the original campaign are all reprising their characters for the animated series and are also serving as the show's executive producers. The series features character designs created by Phil Bourassa, an artist who previously contributed his talents to numerous DC animated projects such as Young Justice, Batman Bad Blood, and Justice League. The animated adaptation originally began with a Kickstarter that was intended to fund a single 22-minute short, okay, based on the web series role-playing adventures. However, the fundraising campaign immediately blew past the original goal of $750,000 US dollars and ultimately pulled in 11 million US dollars total. The series scope was later expanded into a full-length animated series when Amazon Studios signed on to help produce and distribute the show. Wow. Look at that. In addition to the new series, Critical Role fans can look forward to digging into a new campaign book based on Vox Machina's world entitled Toradora Campaign Setting Reborn, which is due out on January 18th, which is this coming Tuesday. Critical Role team is also partnering with Wizards of the Coast for an official Dungeons and Dragons book, Critical Role Call of the Netherdeep, which is due out next March. There we go with that one. So we get ready to move on to the next one here. Let's see. Alrighty then. So as we get ready to move on to the next article here. All right. Mamoru Hosoda's Bell releases anime film's dubbed opening scene. Distributor G Kids previews the English version of Mamoru Hosoda's critically acclaimed Bell in a new dubbed clip. Article by Michael Asarna, published 10 hours ago. G Kids released new clips showcasing Bell's English dub. This is a popular movie that came out last year, so G Kids. I wonder which. I think G Kids is the voice actors. I think are the New York-based voice actors, but I guess we'll know soon enough. The anime distributor has released two new clips from Mamoru Hosoda's latest animated film, the Beauty and the Beast inspired Belle. The first clip is the opening scene of the movie, which introduces the virtual social network of you and the film's titular diva, Belle, a singer with an online following numbering in the billions. The second clip introduces the girl named behind Belle's online persona, the shy and timid Suzu. Both clips are dubbed in English and star newcomer Kylie McNeil as both versions of the film's protagonist. The English dub also features Gossip Girl's Grace Crawford as Justin, or Gossip Girl's Chase Crawford as Justin, The Good Place's Manny Jacinto as Shinobu, and Euphoria's Hunter Schafer as Ruka. The movie, so it sounds more like LA based, I would think. But, anyways, the movie will premiere in special IMAX preview showings on January 12th and will be screened in other theaters on January 14th. So, next Friday. So, let's see. January 12th, which is today, and then 14th is this Friday. Belle made its international premiere in the fall of 2021. At the Cannes Film Festival, where the movie received a 14-minute standing ovation. The movie is the latest work by Hosoda, whose previous film, 2018's Mirai, was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Animated Film. Hosoda has been frequently compared to Studio Ghibli's Hayao Miyazaki and has directed a number of similarly critically lauded animated movies, including 2006's The Girl Who Leapt Through Time and 2009's Summer Wars. Hosoda began his career in the 1990s at Toei Animation, where he worked on the Digimon and One Piece franchises. Bell sees Hosoda revisiting many of the technology-focused themes he explored in Digimon and Summer Wars. Um, the movie centers on Suzu Naito, a teenage girl in a rural Japanese town who dreams of becoming a famous singer, but is held back by her shyness and trauma over her mother's death. While Suzu struggles with expressing herself in person, in the virtual world of You, she adopts the persona of Belle, a confident and commanding performer who is famous worldwide. The movie was released in Japanese theaters earlier this year, so more like last year, 2021, because we're just barely into 2022 here. Um, Ryu to Sobakatsu no Hime, literally translated the dragon and the princess of freckles. The film was extremely well received by Japanese audiences and critics alike, and went on to become the third highest grossing film in Japan in 2021, placing just behind the latest entries in the long running and popular Neon Genesis Evangelion and Detective Conan Case Closed franchises. So I believe we have one more. Yeah, we have one more here. And this also has a bit of a tsunami connection as well here. All right. All right, then. So, this last article we're going to do now. Let's see. Hour 47. All right. Made in Abyss brings its dungeon crawl to Toonami. Now, it does seem like Toonami right now doesn't seem to know what it wants to do long term, because it's coming out of the holiday season where a number of the shows they did have kind of either concluded the series or concluded the season. So at least as of this Saturday, um, you'll have Blade Runner Black Lotus on at midnight, then an hour of new episodes of Assassination Classroom at 12:30 from 12:30 to 1:30, and at 1:30 that's when Made in Abyss will be on at 1:30 Saturday night, Sunday morning. Then an hour of Naruto um, from like 2 to 3, and then an hour of Cowboy Bebop from 3 to or Naruto Shippuden from 2 to 3, and then from 3 to 4, an hour of Cowboy Bebop. So with that being said, so let's see. Toonami announces that Made in Abyss will be the second critically acclaimed anime series to join the lineup this January. Article by Michael Oshana, published 8 hours ago. Toonami announced that it will begin airing Made in Abyss as part of its late night weekend lineup. Toonami confirmed on its official Facebook page that it would air the animated adaptation of Akihito Sakushi's dungeon crawling series. The show is the second critically acclaimed series to be added to Toonami's lineup this January, with the first being the second season of Assassination Classroom, which made its English broadcast premiere on January 9th, this past Saturday night, Sunday morning. Toonami previously announced that it would be adding a new show to its lineup every week for the next month or so. All right, so that clears that up then. That's kind of interesting. Maybe that's also to help kind of move like Naruto. Well, I think Cowboy Bebop hour was added because of the recent stuff going on with the Netflix live action series. Shippuden's still fairly popular, so they're keeping that up. They're probably trying to accelerate that a bit through its series, and now you're starting to bring in some of these newer shows, or some of these newer shows as well. Let's see, month or so. Made in Abyss is scheduled to air its first episode January 15th at 1:30 a.m. Eastern. So, um, yeah. So, well, okay. Technically, I believe that would be January 16th. It's Okay, so it's like Saturday night. It's a little tricky because Toonami actually starts at midnight. So technically, even though it would be considered part of the Saturday broadcast schedule, it's technically Sunday morning. So it's technically the 16th. I know that's confusing and stuff. I get it. The latest show in Toonami's anime lineup tells the story of Riko, a 12-year-old girl, as she begins a journey into a massive, mysterious pit known as the Abyss. Riko is searching for her mother, who is one of the world's most famous cave raiders, a name applied to adventurers who delve into the abyss in order to retrieve treasures and artifacts left behind by ancient civilizations. Riko's mother disappeared in the labyrinth 10 years ago, was presumed dead, till Riko receives a message from the long lost adventurer stating that she is waiting for her at the bottom of the abyss. Wow, it sounds a little horror filled too there. Ah. Made in Abyss began with a manga series by writer and artist Akihito Tsukushi, which was first published in 2012. The anime series, based on Tsukushi's work, originally premiered in 2017. The series was directed by Masayuki Kojima, who is previously best known for directing the animated adaptation of Naoki Urasawa's acclaimed psychological thriller Monster. It was written by Hideyuki Karata, the creator of Read or Die. The show was produced by Kinema Citrus, the animation studio behind The Rising of the Shield Hero and Review Starlight. Both the manga and the anime series have received widespread acclaim for their mix of beautiful art with the story's tense drama. The second season of the anime, which will now carry the subtitle of The Golden City of the Scorching Sun, is scheduled to premiere in 2022. A trailer for the new season was released in November, which introduces several of the new characters that will appear in the show's new season. The series will pick up the story from the events of the series' third animated movie, Made in Abyss: Dawn of the Deep Soul. A live-action remake of the series is also currently in production at Columbia Films, which currently has no release date. Oh, there we go. So that's all of the main stories we have tonight. So wow, we're hour 53. So I think we made pretty good time tonight. All right, guys. Well, as it is, we are coming close to the 2 hour mark. So it would probably be a good time to wrap up. I hope everybody enjoyed the content tonight. So before we head out, is everybody ready for this day in each history? Everybody ready for this day in each? Ready? Hey, Woody. All right. So without any further ado, then, today being Wednesday, January the 12th, 2022. Okay, for this day in each history. Yep. Um, let's take a look back at this day in each history. And first off, we're going to head back 40 years ago today. As on this date, 40 years ago today, the 270th issue of Incredible Hulk from Marvel Comics went on sale on this date for 60 cents. It was 32 pages. The story was the Goliath, the Gargoyle, and the Galaxy Master, written by Bill Mantillo, drawn by Sal Buscema, with lettering done by James R. Novak, Bob Sharon doing the coloring. So on this date in 1982, 40 years ago today, the 270th issue of the Incredible Hulk went on sale on this day. So, anyways, moving on to the next piece in each history. As we move forward to 1997, as on this date in 1997, on this date in 1997, the King of the Hill would premiere. King of the Hill would happen. Also, the Simpsons episode, The Springfield Files, which would be a crossover episode with the X Files, in which Leonard Nimoy, Gillian Anderson, and David Duchovny would all provide their voices as guest stars on The Simpsons. So on this date in 25 years ago today, premiere of King of the Hill and the Simpsons episode, The Springfield Files, which was a crossover with the X Files TV series, with Leonard Nimoy, Gillian Anderson, David Duchovny providing their voices as special guests for the episode. So, also, as we continue to move forward here, as we move ahead to 2012, will be our next stop here, which was 10 years ago today. On this date, 10 years ago today, the DLE's Thermi Romai and David Productions Inu Boku SS premiered on this date 10 years ago today in 2012. So on this date, 10 years ago today, the DLE produced anime Thermi Romai and David Productions anime Inu Boku SS would both premiere on this date 10 years ago today. And finally, moving ahead to 2017, which was 5 years ago today. On this date, 5 years ago today, Moose would defeat Drew Galloway for the TNA Grand Championship at a taping for Impact Wrestling. So on this date in 5 years ago today, Moose would defeat Dean Galloway, or Drew Galloway, who I believe was known as Drew McIntyre in the WWE, for the TNA Grand Championship. So there we go with that one, everybody. All right. So with all that being said, I thank everybody for being here tonight. Don't forget, this Friday, of course, is our weekly look back in Comics History Lane, which will be looking at books that went on sale in September 1938 from Dell Comics. R.J. Carter from Critical Blast will be joining me on that night, filling in for Batcoat. Hopefully, I did send out an email to Batcoat earlier today. Hopefully, either I'll hear back from him or we'll see him next week. Hopefully, he'll be back soon. And with that, guys, I thank you all for being here tonight. I do appreciate all the likes and shares. Helps get more friendly people in here. Hopefully, everybody enjoyed the content. And until tomorrow, bye.